back here again for the first video of 2018, and I figured it was a good time to do a vinyl finds video. It's been probably about a month or so, if not longer, since the last time I actually did one, so definitely time to do another one. Trying something a little bit different. I'm actually using my phone to record this. I usually use a little Sony camera. It's honestly kind of a pain to actually transfer it from the camera to the laptop and then put it on YouTube. It's not really a pain, it's just kind of a little bit time consuming. So I figured it would be a lot quicker to actually do it on my phone. Now that I actually have a phone that actually has space to actually record videos, and actually takes pretty good videos too. I actually had the iPhone X or iPhone 10 or whatever you call it not too long ago, so I figured I would see how it looks like on that and make it a lot easier to actually do videos and hopefully be able to do videos more often. But I do have a stack of albums to show, so I'm going to just get straight into it. I'm probably in no particular order, but the first thing I'm going to show, I actually went to a record show a couple weeks before Christmas. I went to they had like a record show that they have quarterly, and I think I went to 3 out of the 4 in 2017, and the second time I went to was probably the best, when I found a bunch of like old promotional posters and stuff, but this one was alright. Wasn't really looking to get there super early, so I got there probably around 11 or 12, and found a few things. Nothing too spectacular though. The first thing I got is a Bush Deconstructed. Probably honestly my least favorite Bush album. I'm actually really not a big fan of this, and I really don't care that much for the remixed and the different mixed versions of their songs. Definitely would just prefer to listen to the original ones, but figured I would add it to the Bush collection. I've found it there for cheap. I mean, he had $10 on it. I think I got it for like $7. Definitely not my favorite album though. I honestly don't know if I ever will listen to it, but do have it to add to the collection, and just got it cheap enough, so I figured can't really go too wrong. I mean, at least add it to the Bush collection. I also picked up from him as well as Toady Feeler. This is their album that came out in 2010. This is obviously the picture disc. Toady's album that I needed. Would have liked to eventually pick up just the regular black vinyl version of this, but cool picture disc nonetheless. Great album from him as well. Always love me some Toadies. And then the last album I picked up there, and the guy that actually got this from had just a bunch of real obscure like 90s like metal and like grunge and like alternative rock. I mean, most of the bands I've honestly never even heard of that he had, so I didn't really pick up a whole lot from him because I just wasn't in their range from like $20 to like $100, so I was like obviously gonna take a big gamble on something that I've never heard of before. But this one I actually kind of caught my eye for some reason. I think I got it for like $25 inside Tar Over and Out. Honestly had no idea who they were when I bought it, but something for some reason caught my attention, so I picked it up. Took it home and listened to it, and I was actually really blown away. Just a great album. Definitely recommend looking these guys up if you've never heard of them. Definitely glad that I took a random buy, because it definitely paid off, and hopefully I'll come across some more of their other stuff. And I'm pretty sure the guy that was selling it actually thought he had a Tad album, because he had a little post-it note on the top of it that said like Seattle grunge band from the 90s or something on it. So I think thought he had a Tad album and not a Tar album, but Tar is actually from Chicago. Kind of that grunge sound to it, not exactly the same, but I mean, definitely recommend checking them out. Definitely solid album, and this is actually the last one that they came out with, and this one is an original 1995 copy. It came out in 1995, but this is the last album they actually released. before they broke up. But definitely was pretty happy that I had a blind buy there and actually paid off, because sometimes you just never know. And then so I went to Barnes and Noble. Check them out every once in a while when I'm just swinging by places, and usually go there. New issues or something come out, because you can just sometimes get them just cheaper there, or just get them when they have a sale or something. But I picked up Automatic for the People, REM reissue that I've been needing to get for a little while. It's a great album. Love pretty much the album from front to back. It was an excellent. Drive, Everybody Hurts, Man on the Moon. It's a solid album from REM, and I'm hoping that's the reissue Monster at some point. And then I also picked up one of the newer Nine Inch Nails reissues, The Fragile. Originally came out in 1989, and they do an excellent job on this reissue. I've heard all the other reissues that they've released as well. They do an excellent job on as well. Eventually want to pick up Downward Spiral. I have an original copy of it, but would definitely love to have just a nice, solid reissue. And if it sounds anything like this, I'm going to be definitely pretty happy with it then, because this one just sounds... It's outstanding. They do a really, really excellent job on it. And Barnes & Noble's had it probably cheaper than I have seen it anywhere else too. So, and then probably about a couple of days before Christmas, I went to the Vinyl Rescue Project, and I was actually kind of surprised that they had. I was just flipping through some albums, just looking around, and I found an original copy of Morphine Yes. It came out in 1995. Just a solid album from them as well. I mean, it's just a near mint shape. He had a pretty good, pretty fair price on it as well. But I also had he has a Vinyl Maniacs Club thing, and if you spend like $100, the next time you purchase, you get like $10 off. And I had that built up, and I actually had a gift card that I had gotten from my work. So I actually got this completely for free, so I definitely cannot beat that at all. And then I went to Indie CD and Vinyl with my buddy Derek. We went up there, I think it was Sunday, so it was probably 2 or 3 days ago. And just flipping around the records, and they actually had a... This is not an original copy, but it's a 1994 reissue, so definitely a really early reissue of this Jane's Addiction album, Ritual D-Lo, Habitual. I'm sure I probably butchered that because I can barely speak English, the English language as it is, I'm sure, as you know by watching my videos by now. But solid album from Jane's Addiction. Probably my favorite Jane's Addiction album, so when I saw it there, definitely... I knew I had to scoop it up. It was a little bit pricey, but I mean, sometimes when you see these albums out in the open, you gotta pick them up, because you just never know when you'll see them again. And I probably wasn't gonna get any cheaper if I were to get it on Discogs or anything like that. So it's really happy to actually finally own this album on vinyl. And I think that's actually all the stuff I picked up in an actual store. The rest of the stuff I had bought online. The next thing I'm going to show is an album I actually had pre-ordered way back in like July or August, since the newest Pearl Jam Vaults live at Soldier Field from 7/11 in 1995. Of course, an album that's been widely bootlegged. And they did have an official release of this album come out in 1985. I think a record store in Chicago gave it like I don't know, maybe like 1,000 copies away or something. It might have even been less than that. And of course, it's been bootlegged. And of course, original copies, if you can find it, go for just tons of money. So really cool that they actually did this show as the newest vault. Unfortunately, the vinyl's not the full show. I think they said that something went wrong with the tapes, and so there's like 5 or 6 tracks that were like only digitals they didn't want to put on the vinyl. They only put the ones that were actually on analog, which is most of the show. But they do give you a download code for the digital tracks, which is nice that they do. That would have been cool if they would have put them on there, whether it be digital tracks or not. It would have been cool to have the whole show on here. But nonetheless, solid sounding show. They do just an amazing job on these vaults, and one of those things I look forward to them coming out with every year. And the 1995 Pearl Jam show, can't go wrong with that. I mean, you got Release, Go, Last Exit, Spin the Black Circle, Tumor Christ, Corduroy, Whipping, I Got ID, This Isn't, Even Flow, Deep, Jeremy, Glorified G, Daughter, Animal, Habit, Lucan, Not For You, Elderly Woman Behind the Counter in a Small Town, Immortality, Alive, and Porch. So solid set list as well. Just in a great show. Definitely love hearing those early Pearl Jam shows, and it's definitely awesome to have it on vinyl as well. And also, speaking of Pearl Jam, about 2 years overdue, but the 2016 Pearl Jam single finally arrived. I got this probably about last week. It was along with the Deep issue of Deep. But this has a Alive, and the B-side is Around and Around, of course, the Chuck Berry song. And these are both from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Alive is from the soundtrack of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which has Dave Krusen on drums, playing drums on it, which is really cool, the original drummer for Pearl Jam. And of course, Around and Around was a rehearsal that they did for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So definitely a really cool single, definitely worth the wait. And I also picked up Nada Surf, High Low. The funny thing about this album is I love the song Popular, and probably a couple months ago I heard it on, I don't remember if I was watching MTV Classic or if I was listening to Lithium and on Sirius XM, but I heard that song and I was thinking to myself, I have to try to find this on vinyl, and I completely forgot about it. And then about a month or so ago, I was listening to Sirius in my car, and that song came on. It reminded me, and I figured I'd check Discogs right then before I forgot. And Vinyl Me Please, actually, and this is the Vinyl Me Please version on orange vinyl. And it was super cheap on there. It was like $15, so I picked it up, and sounds phenomenal. And that originally came out in like 2014 or 15. Just one of those things that I love that song, but it's just one of those bands I just don't really think about all that much. But definitely figured I had to get it when I was actually thinking about it. And last few things, I actually did pick up a couple local H albums that I kind of had to close out the gap. Of course, I got Hey Killer, which is just an amazing album. This is the last album that they came out with in 2015. I've had the CD of it. I figured it was time to actually pick up the vinyl. This is the collar version as well. Just front to back, solid album. And seeing these guys live, they performed the Last Picture Show in Zion, Gig Bag Road as well, and I think they did Freshly Fucked as well when I saw them. But just a great album from them. Really hoping that they, I think they actually announced that they're doing a live album coming out sometime this year as well, so looking forward to that. And another local H album that I've been really wanting to get for a long time was their first album, Ham Fisted, and I finally picked that up. I got it on Discogs, and it's actually a promotional copy as well, gold stamped on the back. So really kind of had to pull the trigger on it and finally get it. Actually had some Christmas money, gift cards, so I picked it up with that. Excellent shape. Their first album is solid. Definitely underrated, I honestly think. And to kind of go along with that, I also picked up their a single for the single for the Local H as well, for one of the first singles, and I pretty much got this for the B-side, which is Talking Smack, which is, I don't think has been released on CD or anything. I could be mistaken, but wasn't overly expensive, and I felt like it went pretty good with their first album, so I kind of got those at the same time. And the last thing I have to show is speaking of Vinyl Me Please, is the latest Vinyl Me Please. It's Moby Play. I really enjoy this album. This is one of those albums that I had on CD way back when it came out. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I remember having this on CD, and I always feel like some of my friends were confused that even at 8 or 9 years old that I had this on CD, but it was just a solid album from Moby from front to back. Of course, it got Southside on there, which is just a classic song. But I really love to finally have this on vinyl. I know they've reissued it a couple times, but this one's on blue vinyl. But super stoked to finally have that on vinyl. But that is all the stuff that I have to show, unless I'm forgetting some stuff, which if I am, I guess I'll show it in the next video. But hoping the video quality is alright. I'm doing it on the phone, but hoping to do some more videos more frequently now. So I hope everyone has a great 2018.